Welcome back, everyone. The weather is not so nice out here today. Winter is reminding us that it is not over yet. You can hear the snow and ice pinging off of our greenhouse here. It's nasty, wicked windy, and a nice winter weather storm. It's middle of March here. We're still not into spring yet. And today our outside temperatures are sitting around 26, 27 degrees. And in our greenhouse, we're sitting about 55, which is amazing because we are able to achieve that kind of temperature difference with all of our systems here, keeping the floor warmed up with our compost water, as everyone knows. But this one is constant because we have our battery backup. This fan is not running right now, blowing through our compost because we have so much snow and our shade cloth. And we basically got hit with another winter storm like we've been dealing with for the last couple months here. So nothing new here other than all of the fresh sprouts that we're trying to keep alive in here. Last couple weeks have been very nice for us. We've been in the 40s every day, maybe even upper 50s, and it's been perfect weather for sprouting and starting spring projects in our greenhouse. And I can see my breath out here today. So while it's still winter time, we are able to get a lot of crops going. And I wanted to talk today about some of the things you can grow and what kind of crops and what you just need to look for. I want to list a few crops, such as root crops or lettuces or brassicas. Some of your colder hardy and lower light crops is what you want to look for. So in our greenhouse here, we have down at the end carrots, and then we have sorrel and lettuce. We've got our walking onions temporarily placed in there, more lettuce undersown. We've got pak choi coming up in the middle. We've got our leeks, and then we've got a whole bed full of root crops. We've got radishes, 4 different varieties of radish, all in this bed mixed together. We ended up planting some white globe top turnips in the middle here. And then down at the end, we have all of our beets. All of these different varieties of root crop we can incorporate into one little bed here, and then undersow lettuce through this entire bed. Once all these get more developed, we really are having a high functioning bed and really stacking all of those functions of every inch of soil, and we're really maximizing the use of space out of these little beds. This always interests me, being able to pack as much as you possibly can, especially when you're only growing food. So all of this is going to really come to life, and within a few weeks here we should not be able to see much soil, and we will be undersowing all of that lettuce in here. Aside from your root crops, you want to grow lettuces, and lettuce is a perfect one to undersow with a lot of your crops, and you can get multi-functions out of your beds. And instead of having a deep mulch like we still have down here, like for the winter time, we are able to cover up our ground space with plants and not lose all that moisture by having bare ground open all the time. Our ground is a little bare right now as all of this bed is actually popping to life here. We will undersow through this entire bed also as everything starts to come up. We ended up broadcasting some rapini broccoli in here, throwing a big clump of snow, letting it melt, and it started to pop up. It's a very foolproof way of starting all of your seeds. I really thought this was cool. Down this entire row, we've got all of our peas starting to come up. They're very hard to see, but our peas are going to be coming up and growing up on this wall here. You can see all the snow we're dealing with right now, but those peas are surviving and doing well. They are snow peas. They should be resistant to the cold that we're seeing. We're not seeing anything below 20 degrees in the near future here. So all of these peas should do very well for us, and we should get a good harvest off those. Peas don't need a pollinator. They are self-pollinating within their own flower. So they are always a must inside your greenhouse because they will produce a fruit without being pollinated by a pollinator. More cold hardies are your brassicas. We have our kale, we've got our tatsoi, we've got more kale, we've got broccoli coming up, we've got some kohlrabi, we've got tons of Swiss chard, we've got all of your cold hardy veggies and crops growing right now between our greenhouse and our low tunnel polys we have out in our garden. So as we are coming out of winter time here, we're selecting plants that are low light, low energy, and they are cold hardy. That is all you need to have success in growing. We are in zone 4B here, so our springs are very cold still. So this is why we have this greenhouse to grow in. It allows us to achieve all of this growth Everything in here has been sprouted in here recently and is growing very well for us. And as it starts to warm up on us here and the spring turns to summer, we will start to bring all of our crops out, tomatoes, all of our nightshade plants, cucumbers, melons, and we will have those hardening off out in our greenhouse while we have all of these crops to eat from, so we can always be cycling and constantly harvesting until we can plant into our ground again. I hope everybody found this useful, because I see a lot of comments and just discussions in general about what do I plant right now, because it's early in the season, you don't want to kill things, you don't want things to die, you don't want to waste your money on seeds. So I just wanted to share what I'm doing and what kind of plants and seed I'm choosing to grow right now when we don't have a whole lot of energy from the sun and it is low light and it's still cold outside. You have to take all those factors into consideration before planting and before sowing. Don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Thank everybody for watching.